guys, so today I'm going to show you a very fun little trick that looks something like this. So let's imagine we have a spectator that can completely shuffle up this deck as much as we want. This can also be a borrowed deck of cards, truly doesn't matter. Let's go ahead and have the spectator touch any card in the deck. So let's say they touch this card. I'm going to turn my head around because I don't want to see what the card is, but make sure you guys can see that card the best you can. And once that card is remembered, we'll just go ahead, flip it back over, place it on the table, and we can have the spectator throw it in anywhere into the deck. It truly doesn't matter, just like this. And now we can also have them give the deck a bit of a riffle shuffle if they want. It truly doesn't matter. You guys can see the cards here getting very thoroughly interlaced. We can cut the deck too. And once the cards have been mixed, we're going to have the spectator cut to 4 different positions in the deck. So let's say they cut about a quarter right over here, and then they'll do another quarter right over here, and the final quarter can be right over here. So, you just cut to 4 random positions, right? You weren't trying to cut to any specific place. However, I'm hoping that one of these 4 positions you cut to your card. So let's go ahead and take a look. Don't actually say anything because I don't want to know anything, but here we have the 6 of spades and the 8 of clubs, as well as the 8 of hearts and the 2 of hearts. So I'm hoping that one of these 4 cards is yours, but again, don't say anything, don't tell me which one it is. But we're hopefully going to narrow it down a little bit further by just having you touch any one of these cards. Let's say the spectator touches this one, okay? And then we'll have them touch another one. Let's say they touch this one here, okay? And they can touch one more card. Let's say they think about it for a second, but they go with this one. Okay, so think about it. You just, you cut to 4 different places, and we place those 4 cards on the table, and then you just narrow down from 4 cards all the way down to 1 card. And was this your card, the 6 of spades? No. Was this your card, the 2 of hearts? No. And was this your card, the 8 of hearts? No. See, none of those were your card. In fact, none of these are also your card because you decided to pick this one right over here. Your card, hopefully, the 6 of hearts. And that right there is the trick. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. And if you did, be sure to stick around for the tutorial. Alright guys, so here's the tutorial for the trick that you just saw. This is a completely impromptu trick that can be done with any borrowed and shuffled deck of cards. So there's no preparation needed whatsoever. So to begin this trick, you can shuffle the deck and then have the spectator touch any card in the middle. And once they've selected this card, all you're going to do is control this card back to the top of the deck. So the way I did it in the performance was I turned my head around so that I wasn't looking at the card. What you're going to do is, with your head still turned, you're going to be taking the final card of the right hand packet and dropping that on top of this card as you flip it over and then thumb off that card. So it gives the illusion that this is the same card. However, the selection is actually going to be left on the left hand packet over here. You're going to catch a break on top of the selection and place the right hand cards like this on top. And now you're just going to peel off tiny little packets and then throw this card in somewhere in the middle. And now once you catch up to the break right over here, you're simply going to split your hands in half and then drop the left hand first and then the right hand, and that will control the selection on top in a very seemingly chaotic and messy fashion. And now, like I said in the performance, if you want the spectator to give the cards a riffle shuffle on the table, you can. This is my favorite way to let the spectator give the cards a riffle shuffle but maintain control of the card. What you're going to do is you're going to have them give the cards a riffle shuffle on the table, and if the top card remains on top of the deck, you can simply, spread the cards out and just push them together, and the card is already, controlled to the top for you, essentially. However, if the card gets shuffled in the middle like this, all you have to do is tell them to not push the cards together, just stop them and say, hey, hold on, just let me show you how shuffled the cards are. And before you actually spread these cards out, you're simply going to pull some of the top cards out like this and then just move them to the top very casually before you push the cards out like this. And now the spectator will be very distracted by this very beautiful image here. They won't even notice that you moved the card back to the top of the deck. So now you basically controlled that card back to the top no matter what happens. Then you can give the cards a bit of a false cut if you want, just keep the card on top. And now you're going to have the spectator cut 4 piles. So the first pile, you're going to have them cut a quarter and place it right next to the other pile. And then they'll cut another quarter from the original and place it over here to the right of that. And then the final quarter from the first pile over here all the way to the right. If you remember the order of the deck, the spectator's card will now actually be the second pile from the left over here. So right over here is their selection, which now means you are in the perfect position to do a tabled double lift, when you flip over all of these piles. So your left hand will grab the top card, flip it over, and your right hand will grab 2 cards simultaneously by doing a tabled double. And I do have a tutorial for this in another video if you guys don't know how to do this move, but you're essentially going to peel off 2 cards with your thumb and pick them up at the same time as you pick up the single card with your left hand. And this is a lot more deceptive with the fact that you're doing it with 2 hands and not just one, because it would be a little bit more suspicious if you were only doing it with 1 hand. But since you're doing it with both hands at the same time, it sort of makes it a little bit harder to see. Once you flipped over these cards, you're going to name them and say, well, look, we have the Queen of Hearts, the 10 of Diamonds, and then place these back on top of the piles. And then you're going to flip over the next 2 cards singly. These are just normal cards. And then we have the 5 of Spades and the Ace of Diamonds. Now you're just going to take these cards and start placing them in front of the piles like this. Just take this card, place it in front of the pile, and then take this card, place it in front of the pile. And now it looks like you've taken those 4 random cards and placed them in front. However, you've switched out that second card with their selection. So at this point, all you have to do is equivocate or Magician's Choice, where you essentially will have the spectator point to any card. And depending on if they point to this card or another card, you will basically be forcing this card to be the last one in the end, where essentially if they choose their card first, now the trick is over. They keep their finger on that card and none of these were their card, and boom, that's their selection. However, if that is not the case, if they touch another card, you can have them place their other hand on another card, and then you can eliminate these 2, and then you ask them to pick up one of these cards. If they pick this one up, they eliminate it, but if they pick up the selection, you ask them to hold on to it, and then you just get rid of the other card. So that's essentially what I would do in that case. But essentially that is the entire trick, and then it's a very strong kicker ending, and you can present this in any way you want. You can present it just, sort of an immediate reveal like this, or you can sort of build it up with a little bit more suspense where you have them name the card first and then go, shoot, wait, that wasn't one of the 4, was it? And then say, no worries, I can still fix this. And then you can pretend like you're the one that's changing the card right then and there, and now the card will just impossibly be the card that they want. So there's multiple ways to present this ending. I typically go with the last one, but do what you feel matches with your style of performing. So yeah, that is the trick. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. I think it's a very simple and effective card trick that just gets great reactions, and if you guys want to go ahead and perform this on your own, definitely let me know how it goes in the comments below. Would love to hear your thoughts. And anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this one, and see you guys for the next trick. Bye.